And with that, we are live. So, welcome back to another scene for the Red Branch Knights, where, in a strange turn of events, we are not on Sept. Shocking, I know. No, instead, Maeve has probably sent ahead a squirrel since Paul has shown some interest in working with them as well, and it's at least a little bit more subtle than literally sending a message. Besides, she doesn't have Paul's number. So, squirrel it is. Just to give him a heads up that she and Seamus are in fact planning to swing by. Doesn't seem like a good idea to show up unannounced. What with current events being what they are, and it gives them an opportunity to send something back if they are altering where they are staying, because Maeve knows that there was a fire. She knows that it was reasonably damaging to one side of the house, but she doesn't know if it's just kind of aesthetic damage or if it's, actually structurally unsound. So she'll either see when a squirrel shows up and starts dragging her in another direction, or when she gets there and a wall is potentially missing. Who knows? She will, probably tap Seamus once her duties for the morning are done. Just reaching out through the link to get a hold of him. Plan to meet up as soon as he's free, and the two of them can head out to Brooks Rest to go and see the proverbial Albert and Co. So I imagine we're coming in on the two of them walking up the street.
I mean, sure, yeah. Guys totally can. The squirrel is directing you not towards the usual place of Albert and Co. Different place on Brooks Rest.
Yep. They are following a squirrel, which is not weird at all. And admittedly, not something that she's making especially blatant. But, you know what? It'll do the job. So it just looks like she and Seamus are out for a pleasant walkie, with the squirrel skittering around up the way. But yeah, she'll direct him, point the squirrel out, essentially say that's us, and settle in for casual walkies. See where it
So you step outside the small house, and the person who answers the door is Pavel.
Hello there, Pavel.
Oh, there. No, hello.
Afternoon, Pavel.
Hello. They said you were coming. I made sure I was home. He was a grin. Tried to get Seamus like, yeah. You know where I was.
Seamus, of course, just says nothing. It just smiles. So happy because Pavel's a bro.
Much appreciated, Pavel.
We got over here too, but just steps in and make sure you clean your shoes. Don't want to dirty my carpet.
Yeah, there'll be a respectful nod. They have a glance to see if Seamus wants to take point, but is not going to hesitate to step in and probably
dramatically cleans his shoes.
Maybe we'll just step out of hers because she likes wearing slip-ons. She can just leave them by the door that way.
No? All right, then, if we're doing this. Seamus will take his shoes off and reveal his Kermit the Frog socks.
Fucking
leave them by the door because that's polite.
This Kermit the Frog.
I'm not gonna lie, Maeve, of all the things that Maeve has ever seen Seamus do, she was somehow absolutely not prepared for that. And as serious as this is gonna end up being, it actually cracks her pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. She just is in such a fucking state that seeing Kermit the Frog staring up as she's pulling her shoes off is Nope, can't do it.
What?
Can't do it.
What? Can I finish?
I did not expect the socks. I wasn't ready for the socks. Looks like your feet have been actually replaced by Kermit the Frog.
Jesus, baby. It's terrible. Terrible. My mom bought me these socks at Christmas.
I mean, they're great. They're just
You ever seen green socks? Looks at Pavel, just rolled his eyes like, Americans.
Pavel just sage nod. See what I mean?
the hand kind of comes up over the mouth because it just it feels so inappropriate to laugh, but it was something so desperately needed that it just kind of cracked out.
So you guys move in. You will see Duncan and Paul in one of the rooms. They're sitting there. It's like Pavel leads you to here. Like, you have to pass the first layer of this pack. It's Duncan and Paul. I mean, then eventually coming out of one of the side rooms is much like the picture, really, smoking those fucking cigarettes of his.
Yeah, if we're being offered a seat, Seamus will sit down.
Oh yeah, Pavel's like here and here. You know what I mean? Pretty
Okay.
chill. You know, there's one of them, like essentially like, you know, the. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like bottles of beer. It's like, you know, the pack of cans essentially that you can kind of just reach in and grab one essentially.
Yeah, well, Seamus sits down, gives a nod to the boys. Hello there.
Oh yeah, they nod. You know, they give the little sage nod a lot. You know. You know, Paul's sipping on one. Duncan's just sitting there, kind of, you know, just rubbing out his bit of stubble. Just gives a nod, and Albert strides in from the side rooms. You know, the plume of smoke signals the arrival. Once you guys sit down, Albert starts this. I'm glad we're all acquainted, at least.
Good evening, Albert.
Hello.
Yeah, just the
Good.
thought.
Tilts his head over at Maeve. You know, it's that kind of, you know, studying glance he does.
Evening.
Hello.
And actually, you know what? I'll be fair to old Albert, even though I shouldn't be. Let's see how Maeve is doing. She's had some reassurance, which is a good thing. Let's see how she's holding up. That shit spooked her proper.
Good shit. Good shit.
The shit in her swag spooked her
Oh.
proper. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, so I'm not even going to roll subterfuge.
You are spoopy spoop boop.
Yeah, she is tense and she is nervous and she probably, I mean, it's just written on her face. Like even the guilt, because she doesn't know if she's responsible. She knows Fiona like was aware of what she's doing, but still. Thankfully I lowered her diff a tiny bit because bless Seamus, but whew, no, it's still written on her face. She's not doing so hot being the headline of all the shit she's been up to. She is not used to this like they are. So yeah, considering he's doing like the good, strong looking at, yeah, she's just short of having cracked under the pressure.
So, Albert, I've Anything came up about the house?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Got something?
He kind of blinks after taking his mind off Maeve and then turns. Sorry, what?
House? No, the house.
That means burned down to the ground. Not much you can say about it, really.
That's not an awful lot, no, but I was wondering if you... I'm guessing you've had a look around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wondering if there's anything that stands out
No,
from first look.
no, not really.
Hmm.
Very deliberate and careful.
Jeez. Fiona, doing all right?
She's all right. She's she doesn't have the benefits of the Luna Gardens after all, so Paul does what he can.
And he does, kind of scratch the bit of stubble because it's grim still hearing about it because it's fire. I don't like fire.
Thankfully, unlike her sister, she can regenerate, so she's mostly good.
Yeah. Well, do you plan on looking into it anymore? 'Cause I'm assuming you do, but no, being courteous and ask.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Huh?
Kind of, again, his eyes linger at Maeve. When Seamus says he plans to look into it anymore, his eyes just wander over very calmly, but yet coldly. They rest on Maeve. Oh, I intend to.
Hey,
For what it's worth, Maeve's reaction when it comes to asking if Fiona's all right, it's the whole, "Oh yeah, she can regenerate," and Maeve's just like, "Huh, oh." She's pretty sure one of those, it's just not going to come out right, and she doesn't know. She hasn't seen Fiona since, but yeah, there's the relief that she is #okay, but there's still concern. I mean, it's obvious that she knows more than she should.
And how are you doing, Maeve? You're awfully quiet.
Um, been learning from Sulik about the burn treatments. Been I think I was given something that was meant for Fiona.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. Again, for Seamus, it's weird to see Albert so quiet and yet at the same time so cold in each line he delivers. But his eyes just trail straight to you and then back to Maeve.
I don't know. It's one of those, for Seamus at least, he's this is exactly what he knows that he doesn't like. It's the Shadow Lord when they're thinking. And Seamus just retains that as he always is. That sat down, being respectful, of course, but still pretty relaxed. He's not done anything. He's here out of courtesy. wants to help.
And I take it, Maeve, you're bringing him along into this little game. Correct?
Yes. Not fully yet, but he has an idea.
I see. He can't do any much worse than Sean now, can he? She takes a drink, very slow, very deliberate, letting the weight of what he just said sink in.
Yeah, let's just kind of roll in.
Seamus just holds, especially with that comment, just holds that tight smile.
Yeah, to be fair, even Duncan and Paul look uncomfortable. I'll give you guys that as well. They're like, even Pavel's like, I'm just going to go into the back room there.
I am no longer involved in this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Duncan and Paul, though, they look uncomfortable as well. That was, should have been.
Just holds that straight smile. I think we both know the answer to that.
Well, I think we do. For now, at least.
That's what matters at the moment.
I suppose all of you are fully aware too.
To a point. Yeah, the other boys nod. You get the impression Albert knows everything because he's the Shadow Lord. Of course he knows fucking everything. You know what I mean?
Probably does, but she's trying to measure how much she can safely say in shared company.
My packmates are know enough to be braced for what needs to be or onto what is coming. And they can keep their mouths shut. At this point, the attack has led to certain people needing to be filled in. And it's not like anybody's going to try spy on my fucking house, are they?
No. And actually, I don't even know, does Fiona drive? Was there indication that she's even present, or is she just utterly disappeared?
She's utterly disappeared. You have no idea. She's here. You definitely know she's here. It's just, she doesn't drive. No, Fiona does not drive. But as far as the official story goes, Fiona, got her wounds tended to and has been out patrolling, hunting down the spiral, quote unquote, spirals. You know what I mean? Diligently working, as it was so aptly put.
And I have not Googled it because it is the one thing I forgot. Is there any chance Maeve could have gotten any look before coming over at what effect maybe beyond the scroll or on the brooch? Even the vaguest idea.
You'd have to blue book that.
Okay. I still need to see if what he's on me is even safe enough to pass on. Right now it's double bagged and been kept in the swag so that if anything that I was sent is aware, it won't understand where it is very well. Not with swags being the way they are.
Again, if Albert does not answer, he just stares at you, which is probably leaves Maeve at least like, oh god, do you know what I mean?
She doesn't like it.
Very well. Have you come any closer to catching him?
I have his face, and I have
Good.
things that belong to him.
Good.
I have his name.
Wonderful. Do you have his motivation?
I think so, yes.
You think or you know, Maeve? In this case, that what we're doing is a very important distinction.
I don't know all the details, but I have a very good grasp of what he is trying to do and why he would be trying to do it.
Then brief your beta.
Beta.
Or should I, brief your beta, or should I say alpha? Correct.
Yeah, there's a Bob.
Brief him.
Honestly, she will leave it to Albert to decide whether he wants to wave the other two out or not, because
Oh yeah, he does. He just clicks his fingers, and they give the nod, and they head up. They head out. You can see them. They actually head outside and everything. Close. You can hear the front door close.
they fully preserve what plausible deniability they have left.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she turns to look to Seamus. I told you on the night Francesca died, Angela and I were out in the halls. We saw Francesca, and we were curious. We were being nosy. We thought it'd be fun to follow. See where she was going, what she was doing in the back halls while everyone was still out in the main hall for the celebration. So we snuck after her. We ducked into rooms. We lost track. We ended up, as we heard other feet coming, hiding in the Master of Challenges office. But whoever it was seemed to have a pretty good idea that we were there. We ended up having to hide in a small closet he's got there. Some sort of utility closet I couldn't see. It was pitch black. But a man came in, and I didn't recognize him. I know it was dark, but the silhouette wasn't anyone I knew. I saw him pull silver. I saw him check a mirror. And then I saw him go through the Master of Challenges desk as though he was looking for something. After he left, we got out and we just tried to get our way back somewhere safe. He met with Francesca. We couldn't see. We were ducked behind one of the walls. But we heard them talking. Him telling her that she hadn't been able to do what he needed. Him telling her that he'd let her do this because he knew how much she didn't want her daughter to be involved. Him telling her that she was no longer useful and obsolete, and we heard him cut her. And we had to stay there. Not even 10 feet away while she was gasping on the ground for just a moment. It was so fast. We hid there until we were sure he was gone. And we ran. I saw the osprey brooch he was wearing. I talked to Fiona about it. I even asked Goyhere because she has all of the crows, so many crow spirits tied to her, if they'd seen an osprey. And they had. So, through her, I've been using the crows to try to find him, find out how he was getting in and out and what he wanted. I went back to the Master of Challenges office later. Managed to slide in there and find a brooch that had been left behind in a file in his desk. Another osprey. But what was inside it was a hawk spirit that was bound the same way that an Ixbangle is bound. It was very subtle. It was only active at night. And it was storing information. Information about... Let me make sure I get the whole list. Nope, not that. Down at the bottom. Things like I had to speak to it. I had to solve a series of riddles to get answers and to make sure that it wouldn't tell him that I had held it. It was telling him things like what positions on Sept were in need of compromise and change to further their agenda. Things like the challenge for the right master. There's a glance between the two. I made sure she was well enough that the challenge didn't have to go through. Things like where there was dissent and where there were problems, like the Traveler Kin not having a place to stay. And that's why I went to Rory and asked him if the McTighe could host them on their land so that someone else didn't use it as an opportunity to buy their favor. Because he is trying to sway things out of favor for the Gleaming Eye, to sway the Sept towards aiding Osterhal, or at least rejecting the Gleaming Eye with the conflict that's going on. Since then, it's mostly been looking for him. I hadn't seen him clearly. I know he has more than one person on Sept. He said he was getting a replacement when he killed Francesca. And the Hawk Spirit said something about... She squints a second, like she wants to get the phrasing right. He wanted to lead the most eager horse to water. He had been checking on that brooch every week, sneaking onto Sept, sneaking into the Magnessa Castle, sneaking into the Master of Challenges office every week to get reports from the brooch, right up until about a month after Francesca died. And then he stopped coming. Now, Goyhere's crows were able to find him leaving Galway, going into the bog. But they lost him there. I suppose they were able to keep some kind of loose track. Because what I was holding when you found me the other day, he disappeared truly to them. And he left behind a message. And he left behind another brooch. And she does glance over to Albert. I think he may have thought that it was Fiona who was watching. There's no name on the message. It says the one whose face, or whose name I know, but whose face I haven't seen. It promised that he was going to come and give the recipient a silver kiss when no one else could see, just like he did to Francesca. Oh God, why do I have this in two separate places? The first brooch had a hawk. This one I haven't been able to study at length, but it's a mockingbird. It's bundled up in the paper, but at the bottom of the paper, he put one of Francesca's eyes, and it is moving, and it looked at me. And I don't know if there's any way for it to show him what it saw. But that's why it's still rolled up. That's why it's wrapped in my bag. Because if it can, I don't want it to see anyone else. But it was her eye. And it's not tainted. But he is a member of Osterhall. His name is Daniel Campbell. He's an Adrian and a Thayerge, which is how he's been getting in and out. And I don't know if he is alone or not. I managed to look into several books. I found out that the Red Ospreys were a pack, an honor guard for the Queen of Osterhall. I don't know if the whole pack's here. I don't know if he's alone. I haven't found any sign or spotted any others. But that's why we have the scrolls. Because if he could sneak in to take out Francesca in the same building that all of us were in, I was terrified that he would sneak up on one of us and no one would know again. They're not there to watch what we're doing. They're there to watch what everyone else is doing and to let either of us know if the other gets in danger. Because if he comes, he's carrying silver. He's a Thayerge carrying silver. She just kind of shakes her head because it kind of blows the mind, what with the fact that silver blades, they chomp through your noses. And I don't think he'd hesitate for a second if he had an opportunity. I've been afraid to go alone outside of Sept. I haven't been able to talk to Fiona in public because we didn't want him to know that I knew. We didn't want him to know that anyone else could know or suspect. So it's just been me meeting Fiona, telling her what I found, telling her what I saw, telling her what I would do next. And then I get this message, and right after, the squirrels came. And she does glance over to Albert, and they told me about the fire and the attack. And at that point, she kind of spreads her hands. I have, I haven't taken notes. I haven't made anything that could be found. But if he can disappear from Spirit Eyes, I don't know that I can reliably keep an eye. Not unless he becomes careless or decides he's trying to lead us somewhere. But I know he is trying to target people who can get an ear to those in position, replace those in position, influence those in position to change their stance, because I don't think he wants our sub to remain neutral. I know he doesn't want our sub to remain neutral. At that point, she kind of like slows down and takes a breath and kind of glances between them.
Albert, silent as the grave, watching the whole thing.
And oddly enough, Seamus was doing very much the same. Just watching, listening, watching. But finally, when she does, like, come to a point where she's ran out of things to say, he just nods. It's quite something. I take it that's everything you know as well, Albert.
I'm not.
It's also why I asked you to keep an eye on Delaney and Gabriel.
Like I said, I looked out for him, Beltane, but I've been busy. But that aside, if this guy is running about and clearly he's got an agenda and got a plan or something, we're going to need to figure something out. If we're all going to come together on this. Yeah, it looks at Albert.
The only question is now, while all this observation may be good and well, we need to be a step ahead, because he's now certainly gotten ahead of us. Although, he's put himself out in the open, at least.
Aye. He has, by the sounds of it, and clearly, he has, for all intents and purposes, moved the queen onto the board. He's pulled a bold move. He's made an open, very open move that didn't silence anybody.
No. My guess is that wasn't part of the plan.
So, how do we turn this to our advantage? Well,
Yeah, it's just gestures like I'm open to suggestion.
well, let's see what we can get. Obviously, I imagine, like you said, you've had a look around the house, Albert. There's
Mm-hmm.
not that I don't doubt your eye. Certainly not. If this man has been sloppy, and if that's where the attack happened, I don't fully know, but if it is, the fact that they survived shows there was a sloppiness, there was a misstep. Potentially, that misstep could have left an imprint, could have left a mark, could have left a trail, could have left something that we can use.
That's a thoughtful glance. Clara kept him from making the kill. That's how she got burned. But she hit him. He might have bled.
Yeah?
That'll be difficult to find in a burnt out husk.
Certainly will, but
But the surrounding territory, not so much if the wound was deep enough.
I know when it comes to following someone, every little bit helps. You have the name, and she'll reach down into the bag and very carefully pull out like the single sheet of paper where she did her best to sketch what the squirrels were describing to her, because they saw him very clearly and were very emphatic in helping her with the detail. So she'll pull that out and kind of, hold it face up in front of the both of them so that they can, one or the other can reach for it or both can look at it, whatever method they want to take.
Albert just stares at it, studying it.
Seamus looks it up and down. You can kind of see his eyes going from the face, like down to the bottom of the sheet, back up, back down, back up.
No, get the picture.
And as you're looking for the picture, we'll look to Albert. If the wound was deep enough, or if it was somewhere that bleeds. I imagine his clothes would have kept most of the blood in, but nobody's careful enough to drops or anything like that. That could have, there's a lot of plant life around here. Simple bit of brush or something that he's walked through.
From what Fiona tells me, Clara stabbed him in the side. Probably the ribs.
Well, with a stab wound, then almost certainly there's enough blood to come out of it. And if he's clutched his side as he's wandered out, any fingerprints left about, blood leaves a mark.
I did notice there's a certain redness, deep stains, but it's hard to tell what's cinder block and what's blood. In the house, at least.
Mm-hmm. And this guy's a Theurge, right?
Nod.
So with that, I don't imagine he was bleeding for very long, so it's going to be in close range.
I imagine, if anything, I don't think we should be looking at the Tellurian. If I was a Theurge and I got caught like that, I'd go for the one place they wouldn't instinctively run to track in all the cluster.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I don't know if it's a stupid thought. She kind of glances over, honestly, between the both of them. But if he did leave handprints, fingerprints, it's a small nuisance. But if there's an arson investigation and they get fingerprints and it puts pressure on him, it might make him slip at least a little bit, or at least make it harder for him to do anything in the Tellurian in the city.
Perhaps.
I think first we've got to find the trail.
We also have to find who's letting him in and out. He's good, but to be truly stealthy, you always have to have someone who's willing to help you slide in and slip out.
Aye. Which brings the question, how exactly they're doing it.
He's a
Could be
Theurge.
I've heard different people are able to go undetected by spirits, and on the Umbral side, It's usually mostly just spirits watching the walls.
Particularly at night, if you pick a certain time, but then again, somebody would have to know that.
That's my point. Now, is it the case that he's going through a place where there's not a lot of spirit, but there's a lot of manpower, and let's just say that that manpower happens to be the people he gets on with? Or is it the case that it's a singular person that's pulling him under a ditch or something? That's, if you find out a location, you find out an idea, an understanding, which area, which way, which side. Pinpoint it down, slowly work it through. If he's smart, which I don't doubt that he isn't, he won't be using the same way at the exact same time. The same way every time. But mixing it up, keeping it different, keeps the trail harder to track.
Pretty much. Considering this man has so far gotten in past all of us and even got into. The only way we're going to reliably catch the trail is begin to find out who's the one planting the different ones. And that's no mean feat.
No.
But we have an opportunity. He's not using Guru. Or, well, not all Guru.
Not all Guru. If we figure out how to compromise his grasp on the people that he's using, countering what he's offering them, giving them an alternative. Not from
That's when
an
Albert just
but
starts laughing.
a glance.
Alternatives.
Like what
That's
I did
very
before.
innocent. That's very innocent of you.
I don't mean in a direct fashion. I mean taking away his offer.
Taking away his offer.
The travelers needed land. They have a place to stay now, but they're still going to eventually need land. If someone else provides it, it's not an offer he can use to get what he wants out of them. They become useless because they don't have any motivation to do what he asks.
No, that's me if you're on the right track. But I believe the people that are helping him have already got what they want. Because if this is true, he's not working alone. He's got backing from somewhere that wants to destabilize his place. And whatever offer, or whatever powerhouse that's backing him to do this, is the one making the offer.
Considering the current state of New York, I imagine we all know who it is.
I didn't want to say it out loud, but with a powerhouse like that, with a group of people like that, the amount of the certain offers that they can make are exponential to get what they want.
We could be lucky and have a sentimental blackmail, but realistically, these people are already bought and paid for.
It's not going to be in terms of outbidding. It's going to be in terms of something a little bit more direct. Just looks at
Yes.
Albert like a knowing.
Oh yeah, Albert doesn't say anything, just nods like yes. That often is usually the best way to close certain eyes and ears. You could rescind his offer, make all you wanted, but he'll just find a new way and a new offer. So the same people or the same method or new people. Sometimes the best way to do it is to close them forever.
Or he'd use his contacts as a trap to finally get rid of the thing that's poking him in the side.
It's very easy to create a scapegoat. That's the thing we need to be careful. He could pin this all on one person and then slip away without us realizing. Now,
So-
the implication that the Master Challenge is involved is the one that concerns me.
Do we think he's involved?
Well, let's look at the facts. Did you notice Sulek's challenge for the position? Noticeably difficult, wasn't it? Particularly. Now, thankfully, Sulek managed to pull it off. Do you notice how difficult it was? Very engineered towards certain things.
To favor Theurge.
Ah, yes, of course, Maeve. Looks at her firm. This time, Albert doesn't have the smiles. It's very cold glare. But to favor a particular Theurge who they knew was going to win.
Yeah, she nods.
I imagine if Diana was in the weakened state that she was, it would have been a particular challenge for her. I don't think the weird of the forest are involved, but if you get what I mean, just because you have a candidate doesn't mean you tell them everything now, correct? I'm assuming we know that bit of politics.
She nods. If they had successfully taken the positions that they meant to challenge for, it would have changed the board. It also would have taken the members of the Weird of the Forest off the field.
Yes, and they're the ones who actively keep up most of the patrols.
She nods.
Good. And then Nessa would have gotten paranoid. And she might have beaten Sasha, yes. She would have done so, that would have made people begin to doubt her, if you get me. Her control, her temper, very dangerous things in that room.
It's kind of a concerned glance at that.
See, it's all weaving, ever playing like a dominoes. I'm sure your alpha will tell you. If you want to destabilize something, you start with one small thing that leaves an impact and then everybody begins to think about it. This was sloppy work, but not unsloppy enough that his people won't capitalize on it.
Yeah, Maeve takes to idly playing with her hair, thinking.
Again, I've already heard whispers of people doubting my pack's competency and bringing legitimate threats to Brooks West for my actions. When you think about it, it makes a certain sense of logic. Since we had to go at the angle, all the spirals hit us. Correct?
Yeah, Seamus just nods.
Again, I don't suspect everyone whispering, but I suspect those who are whispering in the ear for them to raise a concern.
Enough people to give a convincing argument.
Nodding. Then all you need is the right bleeding heart, and then it just claps his hands together. So, Maeve McFern, you are very lucky. Now you have Seamus involved, you two have a certain advantage. They don't know you're allied with Fiona, although Seamus, they might suspect you given your family ties. But I don't think they'll ever know that you're directly involved. Your Theurge thankfully had the good sense to cover her tracks.
Aye. That she did.
Otherwise, well, I think we'd be having a very different conversation.
I'm sure that we would. And there's a half chance that it would have been me they could have been going after.
More than likely. I would make a very case in point, and I'm going to say this, and I don't care how upset you both get. I know where Sean's gone, and there's a good chance he might not come back, given his actions. It's a possibility you'll have to consider. Not saying it's fact, but it's a possibility that they'll get him on the way back here. Just keep that in mind for how serious this is getting.
Yeah, it's a very small nod, but yeah, she doesn't like it, but it's.
Oh yeah, he's not like saying this is. I know this is going to happen. It's like no, but this is a definite possibility. You know what I mean? It's time to start thinking really real now. You know what I mean? They already tried to kill Fiona and Clara. You know what I mean? So if I were you, Seamus, I'd start watching your back every time you leave.
Consider it noted.
Especially at that lovely cottage of yours. Because if I can find it, imagine what that man will do.
Oh, I know. I don't know.
Seamus, how are you two doing, by the way? Well, we're just pointing out facts. Like, this could really fucking happen, man.
No. It for Seamus, I mean, he didn't know about the conspiracy, obviously, but it's. I mean, Albert could see it, and it's almost as if this layer of face that he always puts on, this understanding and the playfulness that he has around Sept, has just been removed because this is that serious now. This is actually Seamus. It is. It's not cold and calculated. It's thinking. It's trying to make steps ahead. It's already got things in mind, and Albert says about the college, and Seamus just nods because maybe he's already got a plan for that.
Yeah, that's the kind of the bit that leaves you all kind of a bit unsettled. Who the fuck knows what this guy is capable of?
Yeah. But I think between us now, we need to find what we're going to do. Because we need to get ahead. And we can't speculate about being ahead. We need to be ahead.
The Silver Fang kin and the Fianna girl. That's where I'd stand.
Right.
Master challenges will be a more difficult animal. Rank and position.
Well, depends. Kind of thinks. Master challenges, it's a difficult one. But I think if it's handled correctly, we don't necessarily need somebody to, search his office. Just keep an eye.
He glances at Maeve. You seem to have a particular talent for creating little informants. Perhaps you could work on that.
I'll try. It's
You won't try, you'll do.
it is somewhat complicated by the fact that they are. After the first time when I hid in there, they realized someone had been in the office. They have their own spirits there.
Did you
Maeve?
search in the Maybe just continue nods at Seamus, like, go ahead.
It's just hold its hand up. You don't always have to rely on spirits. Because between the three of us here, you've got one thing that both me and Albert don't necessarily have.
Glance.
Innocence. If you find an angle to play with the Master of Challenges, you don't even need to use spirits.
She starts thinking visibly. Just you can tell it's not the hard, serious calculating that the two of them are doing. No, she's starting to think through what she knows.
And that'll be your little endeavor. The Silverfang kinfolk will require more delicate matters.
I suppose the only other question is who else makes ideal pawns? And what do they want? And how well do we know them?
The Magpie girl has brought a lot of queries. She's been the vocal opposition for many things.
She has.
If I had a red herring, I'd pick her. Or Oshin. One of the two. They both fit the bill quite well.
There's a thoughtful squint at that one.
But as for that, well, we could speculate that a lot, but we need to find out on the things we have. We have suspicious activity. Let's hunt it, and perhaps we could find more. We could speculate who would be good pawns if the cows come home, and he would be in here slitting our throats.
Exactly. You can't. On a board like this, you don't choose from what you've got. You push and see what takes the bait. When something's taken the bait, then you place it in somebody's hands and see what happens.
As for Delaney, well, like Seamus has said, Maeve's innocence combined with Seamus's go-getting attitude. That's quite an appeal. The girl's ambitious. Appeal to it. I'll track the Silverfang. My way.
That's not your.
And about the blood? Is it still worth having a look at that, or are we casting that out?
Cast the net out in the Umbra. Both of you handle that. The Umbra's time moves slower, so get it done as quick as you can. I wouldn't go now. Too much eyes yet. But I'd investigate the various spirits around that area. Somebody or something had to have seen him move. He couldn't cover everything.
I think for that, Albert, if you could. Of course, the official word is that Black Spirals did it, correct?
Nod.
If you want to drop a message to the Wormful that you wanted a few people to look into, investigate as well. Give an official reason for being there. It's not suspicious if looking into a spiral thread now, is it?
No, you're correct there.
There's such an appreciative look.
However, let's lay out a ground rule. I can easily do that and sway it the right way. But he looks particularly at Maeve because for some reason he knows Seamus won't do this. As far as anyone else you decide to use as a scheme for this, Maeve, they're to be used, not to be informed. Do I make myself clear?
Crystal?
Good. And it's settled then. We have our roles. Fiona's in the back room if you want to see her.
Yep. There's a small bob of the head. Glance over to Seamus.
Yeah. I mean, Seamus just kind of like gives you the nod, like, if you want to go, go. I'll be in. I'll be in.
You know what? She's not stupid, but she's also not going to keep the two of them from having a quick chat while she's gone. No, she will take the excuse and will politely, go ahead and excuse herself off to check on Fiona.
All right, Seamus, do you want to say anything to Albert? He's still sitting there, just chill as fuck.
Yeah, no. For sake of the room, then I guess it's Seamus has been very that calculated, almost as if when it's like business is dealt with, it's the smile comes back. Like you could even almost see it in his eyes, just the quick flick and the back in the room. It's smiling, folds a leg over the other one, rests a foot on his knee, leans back in the chair, gestures to make to go. And as she leaves, he does look over to Albert. Out of curiosity, Albert, how many do you think are compromised?
About 5, realistically.
Not gonna be, to be honest. My guess was 5 or 6, so it's nice to know we're at least thinking on the same page or similar. Huh. Just drop me a message when or if you've gone with the Wormful idea. I do want to get a good look around this place, and I want to figure it out.
I
There's
will,
a
don't
dread
you
want to be
worry.
on it like a bloodhound.
I will, don't you worry.
I don't suppose you've had an eye on any of the new people that arrived on set, have you?
The Blathermouth from the American set. I watched her for a bit. It seemed a little too convenient, if you get my meaning. She's no threat. The McNamara boy. No. Doesn't make any sense why he would pick him or send him, considering where he's coming from.
And what about the boy from the capital?
It's an interesting one. Not quite sure, but he... I've seen him near your sister, if anything. And the Cubs, mostly.
He just nods, thinking. Hmm. Well, let's see if we can find a trail before something else fucking happens.
Mm.
And Seamus will kind of sit in the chair for a little bit and will stand and then follow Mavis, giving her a bit of time with Fiona alone. But I will go in and see him eventually. If Albert doesn't
Yeah.
stop him, he tries.
Oh, no,
doesn't
no.
go.
No. Albert just watches you. It's silent, which makes Seamus like, oh, shut up, with their deep.
Yeah, I imagine it's that moment where Seamus stands and it's that second. When you walk past somebody and you watch them and they're like the line of sight, they immediately see each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I fucking see you.
I see you, Shuttlelord, with your teeth.
Eyes and your braided hair and your sexy chest hair.
But you will find in the small little room, there she be. There be Fiona Mavelith.
Oh, Fiona. Yeah, Maeve.
She is in a small shirt, pants, but you can see the bandage. You can even see the bandage through like the parts of the shirt, essentially.
You know what? Maeve may never ever work her way up to a Fiona level scolding, but her fuss levels are over 9,000 because she knows you got stabbed. She knows. But yeah, it's the whole like duck in, almost like kind of bashful kid sister style because she feels guilty that she had like it was practical to wait until there was a good opportunity and a good reason to be there. Still, she doesn't like that Fiona has been in a stabbed state this entire time and she hasn't even checked in. So yeah, the little head pokes in. How are you doing?
She just looks up. Managing.
Can I come in?
Nod.
Just
Kind
look.
of slowly. She's like slowly sits up on the bed, just very slowly, very carefully. It's like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she does the little thing where you slide the door open just enough, slide through, and then kind of push it, not shut, but kind of eased back where it was. She'll come over and pull up a seat next to the bed. I'm sorry that I didn't hear in time.
It's nothing you should be worried about too much.
Of course I'm worried. It's a little bit scandalized. Just a touch.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yes, could have. But it could have been better if someone had gotten here sooner.
I won't deny that fact.
I heard what happened.
I imagine you did, yes. She gives those kind of weary, like, oh, you heard what happened, did you? You know what I mean?
Surprise! It's almost like I've been having you hear a lot of shit lately.
Just that little thing, this tiny little stab wound that I got, yeah.
He made it sound like it was pretty bad. Our
Clara thought I was dead. By the way, I was bleeding so much.
can't imagine you dying except on your own terms.
At least I tried to, anyway. He got me in the gut wound. I think he would have aimed for the neck if Clara had not have managed to nick him in the ribs. He didn't notice her first. I told her to run, but Clara never did listen to me.
I don't think he expected her to fight.
No, of course he didn't. He expected her to run her down.
It's a lot easier if you're only facing one at a time.
Absolutely. He gives a weary smile. I didn't exactly make it easy for him. I imagine that's why he struggled, although fast.
Why did he struggle so much?
Oh, to be fair, grinning. I still have my tricks, and I am no exactly common Cleath, am I?
No, you're not. This is the part where you tell me you've been learning to duel since you could walk.
Exactly. He knew it would be a difficult fight, but I expected I got very, very lucky, Maeve. I did manage to burn his face, so...
And you know what? I don't know that Maeve would necessarily go for a hand, especially if they're folded like on her lap, across her middle, anywhere near where she's injured, but she will at least reach out and touch the shoulder. Stay lucky.
Hmm.
I'm afraid I'm not very good at scolding, but please stay lucky. And I'm sure you already know, but Seamus knows now. All of it.
Robert did mention.
I thought he might. You already say everything you thought about all of it?
Pretty much. I'm letting him take the lead while I rest up a bit on this, so I don't feel as weary.
Are you still able to eat?
He gives a nod. It's just so when I breathe.
Oof.
See there? Lift open, open the button-up shirt she's wearing, and just eases open some of the bandage. And Maeve, ho.
You know, the squirrel said gut, but squirrel anatomy and people anatomy isn't the same. How high is this? Is it up where it could have actually damaged a lung?
Missed her lung by like a couple of inches.
Might have fucked with her diaphragm or something if she's having trouble breathing still. Oof.
Yeah, missed wrong by a couple of inches. Got right in that kind of lower part of the stomach, part of the rib. You know what I mean? That sweet spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, she will. She'll look, and I mean, she makes exactly the face that Fiona knows she's going to make of like, just the no, 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 no. She doesn't like it, but she does look because it's silver. There's going to be scarring on her insides too. And it's concerned about it.
If Fiona does look noticeably weaker, gaunter.
Can I make a medicine check to try to determine the potential
Sure.
effects of the scar? Because fuck it, I even bought up my medicine recently. Is it what, perception or intelligence?
Intelligence.
All right, let's see if I can get anything. Ooh, got things.
Did. So Fiona has had a stab wound. Now, it obviously was it didn't hit anywhere lethal, if you get me. So she had, there's a good chance of course she can survive. However, there is the real danger that I nick something.
Based on the placement, highest chances.
Based on the placement. Just torso stab.
Basically, if it's like, is it up under the ribs? Is it through, like, between the ribs?
Just under the ribs. You know what I mean? Just under that point. So check now. I have a thing for this. I've nicked her spleen.
That thing that we fucking joke about in every cartoon known to man.
That's a very real thing. If you damage your spleen, you're fucked. Like, I'm not even joking. Like that is real. You know what I mean? Could have nicked her spleen, pancreas. Wasn't deep enough that it hit the intestines, but maybe. Do you know what I mean? If it had nicked her liver, she'd be dead, Maeve. I'll put it like that. Not even joking. If it hit her liver, gone. Liver, she would have been dead within a couple of minutes. You know what I mean?
Yep. The spleen sucks, but in a pinch, it is something you can live without. It's probably not the best idea, but
It hurt her a lot. But you imagine Paul has sat there and helped, but she just has pain. You know what I mean? She's probably going to have a lot of pain recently.
yeah, it's just, I mean, she's going to make the grimace no matter where it is, because that's still...
Realistically, what you're looking at, Maeve, it could be a lacerated spleen. So the way she's looking, pale skin, the fatigue, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would say it's not ruptured because oh god, do you know what I mean? She's been in a lot worse condition. But you imagine, I'll put it like this, maybe this is why they've been keeping her off, because maybe somebody had to open her up.
Oh boy.
Internal bleeding. I'll give you that, Maeve. The way she's kind of slow moving. You got how many successes? 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah. She could have easily had surgery. Just by the way she's just so gaunt and pale and tired.
Yeah, and surgical scarring will heal a lot faster because it's lethal.
Yeah, I mean, she could just close her eyes and heal. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when she does go to cover it back up, it's just I'm really glad that your back got to you as quickly as they did.
What?
You were right. You're lucky. Very lucky.
I know. I know.
She'll finally go for the hand. Fuck it. Fiona can be a badass bitch literally any other time.
Yeah, she watches as you shake her hand. Just gives you a very weary smile.
A light squeeze. And you know what? Fuck it. She'll try to turn it on its head a little bit. She's not Seamus, but still the little attempt at a smile. And I'm not the only one who's seen you with your hair down. They're gonna start believing me now.
Yeah, well. She gives that kind of shrug. Can't exactly be a fabulous silver fang when I feel like battered shit. Besides, I think if I get out of this bed, I think Runa will, as she so adequately put it, punch me, but not in the sore place so she doesn't feel bad.
It does sound like something she'd say.
Can you do me a favor?
Mhm.
Don't actually go near him and say it, Maeve. Because he will never admit it. But will you keep an eye on Duncan? I think he is not taking it especially well.
There's a nod.
Now, for the love of God, don't actually ask him,
Oh,
or he might come apart at the seams.
I understand.
She gives a smile. You and him have a very similar trait.
What's that?
You overfuss yourselves about people.
I absolutely do. I don't plan to stop anytime soon.
I know you'd never believe it, of course, but she like leans in, like the hold on, let me tell you a secret.
You're worth fussing over. Besides, I feel like it is a very kind alternative to the intense scolding that I got when I messed up. So,
Oh, I didn't pick up an object of heresy now, did I?
well, no, but we both nearly bled to death.
She gives you the look like, don't you fucking compare what happened. You know what I mean? That one look, it's like for brief seconds, you know what I mean? There's like this essentially I'll zoom in. And yes, Seamus.
Jesus.
But yeah, Seamus can come in whatever he likes. Seamus
Well,
flies
she's
it.
getting the microwave eyes from fucking Fiona.
Fucking Seamus Spartan kicks the door open.
Yes, feel free.
Fiona.
Well, fine then. If you're not going to carry on talking, I'll just. So when there's that exchange look, the door just opens and Seamus is just stood there. Just slowly swings open. He's there. He's got a juice box. Am I
Yeah,
interrupting?
Fiona. Yeah, no, Fiona just looks over, you know. Oh, no.
Oh, you two were giving each other a look there.
Unfortunately, Maeve seems to be madly in love with me.
Glance over like, wait a minute, what?
Well, now I know there's
Hope that
certain
she's
rules
really-
in place with that, but I mean, it's kind of like the gesture, like it's two women.
Can't make a medit. Oh. Oh. Seamus just making the panic.
The beautiful moment of like, wait a minute, what? Oh
Steps
shit,
in,
let's go overhand.
closes the door.
I imagine I thought you'd be more with Clara than me, Seamus.
You thought what?
I thought you'd be more with Clara than with me. Because it's a weary smile.
Oh well, see, clearly you thought wrong. Yeah, I said it. I said a silver fang is wrong. Right there, to her face.
Oh, well.
This would be so wrong of me to give you both unequal attention, wouldn't it?
Don't let Clara hear you say that.
Ah, I know that because I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, you twist my balls off.
She would.
And the only reason you're not doing it now is because I'm keeping a respectable distance of at least 6 feet where you can't reach me.
She gives a nod like, good. You're clever. Good.
As he
Yes.
is stood 6 feet away.
Right out of hand reach.
Exactly that.
If you see Vera near the Lunar Gardens, don't be alarmed. By the way, for both of you.
Glance.
Glances over, her eyes open. We Silver Fangs do have our alliances after all.
Seamus just waves like, yes. Hello.
Silver Fangs.
It does explain why Vera was there. It's just like, ah,
Her father did hope some nasty after effects.
Well, I didn't doubt it for a second.
She gives a weary smile.
But have they given you, time frame when you'll be a bit more confident on your feet?
About 2 weeks. Just there was some scarring on the inside. Oleg had to do some things that wouldn't mess up the Garrow healing rate, and at the same time make sure that the stitching stayed closed.
Jesus.
Again, yeah, for Seamus and Maeve, she does look gaunt and tired and worn out, and you know what I mean?
No, he sees it, doesn't. I mean, yes, tell the Silver Fang who pride themselves on their appearance how they fucking look. Of course.
But it does explain why there's just has been no sign of her.
Yeah,
She's just
to
been,
be honest, there's been a lot of things that might have surprised Seamus at one point. He's been guessing a lot recently. He does eventually now. He does close the distance because that joke has passed. And I will take a seat.
It was there. Seamus made his mistake though.
And when the Seamus realized that he had fucked up, he takes the seat.
Has anybody been asking too much questions?
I imagine there's been a few questions thrown around, but generally speaking, it's not the main talk. Like I said, I imagine, Albert's played it off as a spiral attack, and that's been the general consensus. But there's been bits and pieces about, how can spirals get in so close and all that sort of thing.
Naturally.
Which I believe we're planning on using to our advantage.
Makes sense.
But I don't imagine it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. If you need anything that that you're more than capable packmates can provide, feel free to ask.
Just keep an eye on Clara.
Don't you worry about that. I'll keep 2 on her.
Realistically, they couldn't exactly do the same treatment for me with her. It wouldn't look odd if we didn't bring the kinfolk that was wounded to the Sept. That's needs a certain. While she is on probably the safest place, still a vulnerability.
No, of course. I've made sure going up there every day. Sometimes a couple times a day. She's still out cold mostly, but
I know.
But I'll let you know when she's up.
Any worries that you two have? I know the main worry about anything else.
Any worries about what?
Oh, me not being there or anything else.
I mean, I'm worried sick. I'm terrified. My hair is starting to go grey. I cannot see my wonderful friend Fiona out there wielding the mighty sword and honestly giving me a bit of the jitters. When I look across over the fires of the courtyard and the beer garden, I cannot see your horrifyingly stern stare looking me in the eyes, judging me every moment that I open my mouth.
Well, I shall have to make it my first priority when I return.
Nothing would make me feel more comfortable than horrified.
Is anyone asking too much questions about me, which you've noticed?
I think so.
Yeah, we'll be thinking as well.
I mean, people have mentioned, like, oh, Fiona hasn't come by. You know what I mean? Suspicion is starting to come because, like, oh, she hasn't been here. Oh. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's been an abundance, but people are curious. They're asking. It is a bit of something, but nothing too pushy. If you get what I mean. But I haven't heard anything yet.
When I've been at the Lunar Gardens, most of the talk about it at all is about how Clara's recovering and what we can do to help her recover faster.
Thankfully, wounded kinfolk is, as always, the Fianna show their best qualities by focusing on the kinfolk.
Aye.
Again, she seems almost relieved, like, oh, good. I had a feeling you guys would do that. Oh, thank God. You know what I mean? It's that kind of, like, relief, like...
But if you're worrying about that, I'm sure as a master of deflection, if anything crops up, I'll just kind of like that.
There are certain things and people that I would be suspicious of, as always. They started asking questions, so...
Well, I'd be curious to see who comes asking, the family that is quite clearly allied with the Gleaming Eye about anything.
Claire closes her eyes. Look for any of the new people if they start asking.
Well, I've certainly opened my eyes to a few of them. My plan is to keep a good eye on most of them, apart from Eve, obviously, because well,
Your sister.
why? She's my sister. She's not very good at being subtle. I'll just put it like that.
That's actually the laugh that Fiona does.
Weak. Like,
I've seen her with her now.
Huh?
Very good at rune. Very capable. But she does not waste time on telling you who she is and what she's here
Oh, no.
for.
No, certainly not.
Camera cuts over to Eve like, who the fuck? He's beating the shit out of
Who the
somebody.
fuck said
like,
that headbutt?
sneezes and immediately looks around like, who the fuck?
Someone's talking shit.
Oh no, exactly that. You see, no, she, whereas I, being a Ragabash, have been raised by Galliards and Haroons. She is an Haroon raised by Haroons, and it speaks for itself.
I did see her square off with a number of people who looked at her sideways.
She did seem more than happy to do that.
Aye, she is a brick wall with tits.
Camera cuts back to fucking Eve beating the shit out of somebody. It keeps cutting back.
Beating them and just sneezes, whips her head around again like, who the fuck? Who else?
It's like Joe Pesci style shit. You know what I mean?
And if you want to see something entertaining, then you certainly tell her that I said that.
I think I'll pass in my current state.
But jokes aside, I do have my eye, and I have my ideas and my wonderful plans as always. Should be more scared when I don't have a plan. Jesus.
I think I should be very concerned if you ever didn't have a plan.
You should be. Unless that's part of the plan.
Huh?
But then again, you'd never know. Just pats her on the thigh.
Just wait. Floating geometry.
What is this?
It's just Eve. It's Eve O'Callaghan in a nutshell.
Look, I can't wait for an extended scene with her and Seamus. It's just gonna.
Well, don't worry, it's coming.
I know. This fucking Joe Pesci.
This is basically what she's like.
Who the fuck are you?
It's fucking cursing left and right.
I love Joe Pesci.
But you two should let me sleep because she just blinks a couple of times like blah. Unfortunately, I'm not great company. The Oleg said that the anesthetic he used is a particular potency.
Oh no, you're not good company, but I'm fantastic company.
She gives this like weak grin. So if I fall asleep, don't consider me rude.
No, but if I can get a few of those back out, it just kind of gives the slight point to it. I consider my job done.
She gives a little like bow of her head, that not kind of nod. And for the both of you, she falls asleep. Like
Immediately.
Wow. You ever get
It's just like it's like she closes her eyes and then suddenly, that you see it with people who are about to fall asleep. They just close their
Yep.
eyes and just zoom.
Just the head rocks back and just like, ugh.
You ever get the distinct impression that the kinfolk doctor might, in fact, have awakened drugs?
Like glancing over to Seamus.
I don't know, but I want to get me some morphine.
He probably had fucking Paul do it. Like, here, awaken these now.
Do it now.
This angry Russian man, like, we must cut open her.
What?
You need is awake morphine. Come on.
She starts to, just get up at the chair.
We can hear that light snore that people do as well.
And because he is the way he is. And she might get a kick out of this, she might not, but somebody might. He just reaches into his coat, pulls out a small jukebox, still with a straw attached to the back, just places it on the bedside table.
I thought you were going to put it in her hand.
No, just puts it on the table, so when she sees it, gets up, starts to walk out.
Yep. Maybe we'll go with.
Would you guys like to end the scene there? Because I can totally do a social scene where Joe Pesci turns up.
Oh my God, yes. Well, all right. In that case, we're out of here. Fuck. Did you have anything else you wanted to do, Tom?
Nah.
All right. We're going to call it there with the promise of sweet, sweet Joe Pesci.